MP Fernandes, we are on the ground here with you in Bartica, and there are so many issues. I mean, you can take your pick, but let's talk, for instance, about this water problem and anything else you want to throw in there that Barticians having. Talk to us about that.
Well, good evening, guys. The water issue is one that has been plaguing Bartica for some time now. When I'm speaking specifically about the 4 Mile and the 5 Mile area, because that's the area in which persons have not been receiving potable water, and the water that when it is received, it is as very poor quality altogether. Now, one would remember, and I'm speaking persons that are tuning in, listening to the program that actually reside in Bartica, particularly in 4 and 5 Mile area, would remember that after the PP took office in 2020, the minister that's Colin Crowell and his team went up into the Patara Road and they had a meeting and they spoke, a lot of lofty things were promised, and in that they said that persons would be getting water. I'm going to read the actual headline from Stabroek News. It said 5 Mile Bartica to finally get improved water supply. So the residents of 5 Mile Bartica can expect to access portable water in 3 months. Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell, said on Thursday afternoon on a visit to the town. And this was reported in the Stabroek News, shared on the 5th of April, 2021. So one of the things that we're looking at from then to now, this is the 5th of April, 2021. There was another article I can refer to, 1st of December, 2021, that says that a $30 million booster pump is to arrive in 2 weeks for the residents of 5 Mile Region 7 to access potable water. We are now, this is July of 2024. There has been no relief to date when it comes to the water situation. And I want to make it clear that we have been talking about the PPP and their inability to plan effectively and efficiently. And this is another example of that. You have the example of Diamond and the access road to that area and so forth. When we're talking about the water supply and the lack thereof in these areas, we're basically referring to failure of the PPP administration once again in their planning process. You come and you plan, you open a housing scheme. At some point, don't you think that you will have to be making plans and provisions and budgetary allocations to make sure that there are sufficient pump systems and booster pump systems in place so that these areas would actually get proper water? 4 Mile was added. That did not happen. Then they went and added another scheme. 5 Mile was added, yet they did not have any resolution to the water problem. Now they're talking about another scheme farther up. Shara, the PPP is not planning. They have never been engaged in any level of efficient planning whatsoever, and that is what we're looking at right now. And this is something that we keep underscoring every single time we have these conversations. They go out and they just, whatever's at the top of their head, they just put out there. I think there's a disconnect basically when they're speaking. One of the things that we have been mentioning, I can say I know that the council mentioned it at the level of the Bartica Regional Democratic Council, well, the Region 7 Regional Democratic Council, this matter was brought up. It was promised, oh, we will be dealing with it, oh, we are dealing with it, and all of those things. I myself, as a parliamentarian, brought this matter up at the level of the Parliamentary Sectorial Committee. That is the Economic Service Committee. Earlier in the year, a few months ago, Colin Crowell and his entire team attended to answer questions at the level of the Economic Committee there at Parliament. Sheikh Bash was there. When I brought the matter up, he got on his phone and he made a call to the local management in Bartica, and he said, oh, well, we have a schedule system. In this oil-producing Republic of Guyana, they want persons to be satisfied that they have a schedule, that 4 Mile is going to get water one day, 5 Mile is going to get water another day. But guess what? Even that schedule does not play out. It does not work like that. And because the system that they have, the pump that they're using right about now, that pump have to be running for hours before it can build up to actually push water into those areas, because anybody that knows Bartica would know that they're talking about a lot of hills, particularly when you're going into the Patara Road areas. So persons are literally living in the 4 Mile areas without water for weeks sometimes on end. 5 Mile was no different, and we had a whole situation there with the fire service being asked to render assistance. There was a whole lot of claims that came to me directly when it comes to persons, the fire service actually selling water, $5,000 a tank. I took this matter to the level of the minister, that is Mr. Ben, and he did act. I give him credit for that. He did act and confronted the situation and so forth. Whether or not it's still happening, I can't say, but the calls and complaints that came to me on that matter has decreased significantly. That's what I can say about that part. But Sherrod, I went into GWI yesterday because we did not get water in 4 Mile it's going on to 2 weeks now of no water. I went into there, I was told that this morning at 6 a.m. I should expect to see water. I left home at 2 p.m. There was no water. I contacted the management again at the level of GWI in Bartica. They said, when I called this afternoon, they said, oh, well, they had blackout now all day. So the current just come back on, so now we have to wait until the tanks full back so that they can attempt to send water to the area. This is totally unacceptable. We have persons, and I can add this part in. Whenever we talk about these issues, the persons that are affected the most are the most vulnerable in society. That's always the people that we have suffering the most. Those persons can't afford to buy 6, 7 tanks and to make sure that they have water stored at that level to last a period of, I would say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks sometimes. So they depend heavily on GWI to actually do what they're supposed to do and to provide that service. So I have to say, this is not, and I'm going to underscore the point that locally, the team is doing the best they could with the resources that they have. We cannot expect them to push water at a level at which they don't have the actual pump system in place for them to do so with. They have been out there, they have been working with very limited resources, and this is at the feet of Sheikh Bash, as the CEO there at GWI, and Colin Crowell. And they both know that I spoke to both of them about this matter. But I believe that, you know, the squeaking wheel gets the grease. So at this point in time, you have to continue to put pressure because the ordinary citizens there, 4 Mile, 5 Mile, they're crying out because they don't have access to water, and it's a situation that needs immediate intervention. And I can only hope that I don't have to go further and push this matter, and we will actually see some sort of intervention coming forward at this point in time, so that you will see aid being given to the local branch here at GWI Bartica because they desperately need that at this time.
Thank you very much, MP Fernandes, for giving us this update.
You're welcome, Sherrod, as always.